In this video, I would like to talk about the new Netflix show called Hilda, which is very interesting and impeccably good. If I had to describe it in my own way, I would like to say that it's a combination of Stranger Things and Gravity Falls, but in its own way, it's kind of better than both in a sense because it gives you old I guess gives you old like an old vibe or a classical thing that's going on with with the whole show, especially you know if you're interested in shows that are going into the unknown, more into the unknown and the uniqueness of everything. Like it has like weird slash unique vibes with the whole show. But besides that, I in this channel, I would like to say that I'm not only interested in anime and video games to talking about any type of fandom that I deem worthy to talk about or think of theories about, like various theories about like different fandoms that I like and passionate for. But I also would like to say that I'm very passionate for mythology and folklore into stuff as well too, especially if the shows have world building that lingers in that department. Like for example, there are various different shows that does this. Like for example, Yokai Watch itself. Even though it's a kids based show, hypothetically that show it is basically that shows world building, whether it's rated G or PG or whatever. It's lingering around the fact of there are spirits or there are basically ghosts called yokai. And in Japanese lore, of course, there are such things as yokai in a sense when it comes to their folklore and legends and whatnot. And I find those things very interesting to research and look into from time to time. But besides all of that, the two the one main creature that I would like to talk about in this video of Hilda, besides any other creature that I would do in the future, it would be Nessie or Nessie. Nessie or Nessie are basically gnome like creature that are gnome like creatures that have the ability to manipulate small spaces and somehow configure that small space into a much larger space of a hidey hole of some sorts. Like if I had to give a good example of small space, small linear spaces that they can manipulate and configure into a much larger space, like a hidey hole of some sorts. It would be like under your bed or behind your dresser or nightstand to basically anything like a bookshelf that's not up against the wall, but like it's a few inches away from the wall, so it won't be touching it or leaving a mark there. Because you know how people are when it comes to their houses and how they like to keep things clean and undamaged, especially their walls. But yeah, they manipulate those small spaces to use as their own hidey holes, so it's their own way to basically live their own lives while at the same time, you know, while living their own lives in a way they kind of live in other people's houses. So when they live in other people's houses and reside in those small spaces, normally stuff that we lose or stuff that we misplace they'll put it in their hidey hole. Like for example, you have like I guess a video game or a book that you like, or I guess a small piece of technology laying around on the floor for too long, then a Nesai might come and grab it and just basically put it in a hidey hole. And yeah, it's just crap that we just lose and misplace, and it's somehow in the hidey hole. Some in the episode in this main episode when they talk about Nesai and their abilities and Hilda, even um like the main character, well, the main Tantu of all the Nesai, like Hilda's Nessie, named Hantu, I mean Tantu in a sense. He says that sometimes missing crap or lost crap that we lose, they sometimes, if you heard her phone ring, that was my phone. That was my home phone. I apologize for that. But back to what I was saying. Basically, Nessie or Tantu, he says the statement that yeah, sometimes missing crap that most people like misplace or lose in their households, they might misjudge that as an offering sometimes to them in a sense, because I guess they are like some type of either a creature or some type of living entity like creature. But besides all that, it another interesting thing that I'd like to point out in the episode when it comes to focusing in on this one creature called an Nesai would be the fact of it reminds me of this one yokai called the Zasaki Warashi, which is basically a yokai that has like an appearance like a child, an appearance that looks like a child, and with red rosy cheeks. Now, since yokai in Japanese folklore is basically spirits, the only way that you could know that you have like a sashiki in your household would be just the fact of you they either pull pranks or they make childlike noises around the house, or you hear small footsteps or noises like that a child would make throughout the house. Now, the thing, the interesting thing about the Sasha key and the difference between the Sasha key with the Nessie is, or Nesai, would be the fact of their thing is, despite of them basically making pranks and doing, and just doing this and that, they are known in Japanese folklore to bring great fortune and as long, well, mainly great fortune as long as you like treat the spirit right and you don't treat it badly or dismiss it in out of your house in any bad way. If you dismiss it in any bad way or you mistreat the spirit in any way, then it'll bring misfortune. That's what the folklore of Sashaki basically brings when it comes to its own folklore. Now, how can I find both of them interesting and intertwine both of the folklores into one would be the fact of both of them are like household like entities or creatures that resides in a household that has different functions and do different things. And besides those characteristics, it's just the main part of that one main episode where they talk of Hilda when they talk about Nesai. The only person, the main person that gives more folklore of the Nesai or a little bit of folklore about it would be Hilda's mom, saying that Nesai are normally creatures and entities that are most of the time invisible until they're caught doing some some prank or doing something wrong that they're not supposed to be doing, and they are dismissed most of the time if they are causing too much havoc in one person's household. Now, my my thing is that's how I intertwine both of those folklores into one. It's just the fact of Hilda has well, Hilda is not only drawn into the unique like attributes of the world that she lives in. I'm just might as well say just Trollberg itself because they moved out of that enchanted. They freaking moved out of that enchanted like woods that her and her mom lived in for years after one bad experience that came upon their house. I'm going to let y'all watch that. I'm not going to try and spoil that. But besides all that, yeah, like they left out of the woods and moved. So I'm going to call the world as Trollberg in a sense, where all this like uniqueness and weirdness goes on when it comes to its activities of creatures and whatnot. Now, Hilda's mom saying that Anisai are technically invisible, I would say arguably that statement that kind of intertwines with Sasha Key because in a sense, Sasha Key by the end of the day is nothing but a yokai spirit that is invisible most of the time by the naked eye itself that resides in the house and makes pranks or just basically do small chaotic things like either make small pranks small childish like pranks that a normal child would do or basically make small noises like that or maybe cover like snatch small inanimate objects here and there like a Nesai would do sometimes but other than that they don't normally wreak havoc that badly. Same thing as Nesai. Nesai normally are just creatures that are just literally just basically try to find a home, manipulate small space, and configure it into their own type of nest or residing area to live in their own way because that's their own capabilities. That's what they do. Now, besides that, that is the video, and I hope y'all like the video. I apologize if this is linky. I'm still getting the hang of this recording stuff, and I'm still trying to get the hang of like communicating my point across on certain things. Even though I'm not trying to sound cocky, but I feel like I am pretty informative over certain stuff. And if I'm not informative, I at least try to be in a sense. But thank you for watching. I hope you leave likes, and if you do like my channel and you're interested in my channel, please subscribe to it as well too. I'm open for subscribers. I'm also open for likes, and I'm also open for discussions as well too for whatever comments that you have.